Hey, I'm Nick Williams, and in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can earn $255,100 over the next 12 months. It's the template that I talk about all the time, and I'm going to discuss in detail how you go about putting up these type of numbers. Be forewarned, this is for the person that wants to be a superstar, and you got to work to be a superstar. Okay. In order to achieve this, these are the sales, the product sales unit numbers that you have to make. That's 10 Medicare deals per week. That's quite doable. I got people in the field doing that right now. 2 final expense deals per week. So you're talking to people all day, every day. You should be able to get 2 final expense sales per week. And 2 hospital indemnity. A lot of times these are add-ons to the Medicare Advantage sales that you may get. But you should be able to pick a couple of these up. If you're getting 10 Medicare sales, you're probably getting a few Medicare Advantage, and you should be able to piggyback these onto those Medicare Advantage sales. And 1 annuity per quarter. That's it, per quarter. I'm going to tell you the questions to ask to get to those, to get to that annuity sale. And I talk about it all the time. But first of all, the requirements, the activity requirements to make this happen are 6 to 8 people, bare minimum 6 to 8 every single day. That you need to have people to go see every single day. This is 5-6 days a week initially. That's what it requires. Every single day that you're out the door. You're at the door by 9:30 a.m. If you have a good drive, earlier than 9:30 a.m. because you want to be at your first house at 9:30, 10 a.m. You must do a question-based presentation. These canned speeches or canned spiels or whatever, that's so 1990s. Canned spiels are just, it's the dinosaur. You need to be flexible. So if it's not a question-based presentation, it must be a flexible presentation. And you can have it canned, okay, if you memorize it. But you need to be able to pivot and move and grab the sales that come your way. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Okay. All right. In order to get to 10 Medicare sales each week, you must you must keep asking questions until you know you have a sale. So in order to get to 10 Medicare sales each week, when you sit down with somebody, you must keep asking them questions. Keep asking them questions. How's your health? Do you see a doctor for that condition? Do you take medication for that? How much do those medications cost? How much does that doctor cost? Do you have to pay when you go to the hospital? What about an ambulance ride? Do you have to pay for that as well? The questions go on and on and on. Okay? And then if you do not get the sale, it can't be after a failed presentation. Before you get to the failed presentation, you have to pivot. You'll know if you can sell them or not. If you understand what you're doing, you'll never make a presentation that you don't close. And that's a bold statement, but I believe it to be true. And the agents that I have in the field that do what I do, and when I'm out there, okay, I say I close 80 to 90% of the deals that can be closed. And so you can miss a sale, but you're going to get most of them because you've asked the right questions. All right. If there is no sale and you'll know there is no sale, you pivot at that point. And what do you pivot to? Final expense. That's the next product that's the next arrow that you have to shoot, that you pull out of your quiver. In order to get to the final expense, you need a strong transition statement. And I've said mine over and over and over on these videos. You need a strong transition statement. Hey, you stay right where you are with that Medicare program. It's the perfect plan for you. Your agent did the right thing putting you in there. You made a good decision. And I just want you to know I want to help you with any insurance that you may have. I see people wasting money on insurance programs all the time. Old policies, accident policies, sickness policies, old life insurance policies that are just outdated and no good. Having said that, what insurance companies are taking money out of your checking account each month? That's one transition. That may not be the transition you use, but it's a transition that does work. You put your head down and they'll tell you the name of the insurance company that's taking money out of their checking account each month. And that's all you need. You are now in another product sale. If you keep doing that, you'll make those sales. The other statement that you must be able to make in the house is, go get your policy. Go get your policy. And they'll say, okay. And they'll go get their policy, because you need to see their existing policy in order to make a sale on a new policy. You may need to call that company, and you probably do. They probably don't know what they have. They'll give you that policy, and you'll find out it's the wrong. It's not even what they thought it was, quite frequently. But go get that policy. And if they hem and haw about it, you say, that's fine. I'm in no hurry. And you just put your head back down as if you're writing on your notepad. And they'll go get it. You're there to help them make a decision to help themselves. So somebody might say, well, this is, being a bit pushy or whatever. No, people need a little bit of nudge to move forward and make good decisions. And that's your job, is to help them make good decisions. Don't be a weakling. Help people. Now, hospital indemnity. There is a transition for hospital indemnity as well. So we talked about transition to final expense. The transition to hospital indemnity is if somebody has Medicare Advantage and if they have Medicare Advantage, you can usually, and I'm going to show you some numbers here, you can tell them, well, after you get out of the hospital, you're going to get a bill for a couple $1,000s. Did you realize that? And because typically the hospital plans, and again, I'm going to go over the numbers, but the numbers are correct almost all the time. It's about $2,000 with the hospital daily room rate and the ambulance ride to get there. So the question is, and here's how I put it. I'll say, Bob or Sue, based on the structure of this program that you have here, say it's $350 a day for the hospital, and if you go to the hospital and that's in an ambulance, that's going to be another couple $100. You're going to be at about $2,000 out of pocket. Can you write a check for that? Because you do realize that bill will come several weeks after you leave the hospital. So again, the question is, can you write a check for that? And if they say, well, no, just tell them, don't worry, there's a plan for that. If they express interest, then, okay, one of two things are going to happen. This is going to be earlier in the presentation. So what you will do is you'll plant a seed right there, and you may have to come back to that. Or you'll put some numbers down on paper, and these are the numbers. And I write this down, and I show it to them as I'm writing it. So I say, well, your daily hospital copay is $350 for 5 days. So again, you go in the hospital for a week. For the first 5 days, you're going to spend $350 a day. That adds up to $1,750. And if you took an ambulance ride to get to that hospital, and that costs $250, that's $2,000 right on the nose. Again, can you write that check? Because that's what's going to happen if you go to the hospital for a week with your plan. So now, if they are really following along, depending on where you are at in your sales process, you may want to close that right there on the spot at that moment, because they want it. They do want it. They don't want to write that check. Or you may say, well, we'll address that, but let's focus on the Medicare for now. So a little bit of a takeaway. So that's the hospital indemnity math, those numbers, and those numbers are effective. Annuity sale. There's no transition for the annuity sale. not from the standpoint of closing it. All these other products, you can close them on that call. You can't close final expense if you're on a Medicare Advantage presentation. You don't want to do that because you got this CMS thing that they don't want you selling life insurance when you've sold Medicare Advantage. So be aware of that. But for annuities, you want to sell annuities, and I'm only saying one a quarter. One annuity per quarter. You can do this. There's several, you got to ask questions that bring up savings, investments, 401k, CDs, or just their assets. And the way you do that, one way is, and I talked about this over and over and over, you go to page 83 in the Medicare and You book. It's right there, the assets to qualify for extra help. For a married couple, do you have over $28,720 put away? Because if you do, you can't qualify for this. You start right there. Oh yeah, well, we're over that. We got a 401k. We got to roll that thing over. Make a note of that, right? So they're not going to come up every single time. But if you keep talking about it, keep going after it, you'll get them. You will get those sales. That's page 83 for extra help. Another way that you can get to that is ask them in the process. You're talking about perhaps final expense insurance. See, well, do you have an emergency fund if something goes wrong? And they'll tell you, well, no, I got nothing. I got $100 in a checking account. Or they'll say, yes, I do. And they may go into it. Either way, you'll find out if assets are, or an annuity sale is a possibility. You're going to have to come back on that. I've gotten some checks on a one-call close for when I was there for Medicare. I've got, I think, a couple $50,000 checks here or there. But for the most part, you're not going to try to do that. Usually it surprises me that somebody would write the check, but they do from time to time. So you talk about these assets and then you go back and say, okay, you broach the subject and then you say, let's get back, let's focus on the Medicare for now, but you got those notes and you come back for that sale. All right. So how do we get to $255,100 in income? Those Medicare sales, selling 10 Medicare sales every week is going to get you $137,000. The 2 final expense sales per week at $50 per sale, 115% commission will get you $69,000 per year. Hospital indemnity at $35 at 55% commission will get you $23,100 per year. And annuities at 6.5% commission, doing 4 per year, $100,000, which would be probably an average, is $26,000 a year. Those are the numbers. You can do this. You have to work like a dog. You have to be diligent. You have to be a soldier and fight every single day. That's what it takes. People want to be superstars. They don't want to do that, though, do they? So, but maybe that's something you can do. Maybe you'll make that happen. And I hope you do. And I would love to do it with you. So if you're a person that wants to go down that road, you call me because that's the person I want to work with. That's it. Have a wonderful day. Oh, by the way, you can subscribe to Medicare Millionaire and like our videos. Like this video, subscribe, and go ahead and leave me a comment if you like or dislike what is said in our videos. And now I'm going to